And hello, once again. What up, guys? Now, today's video is going to be slightly different in the sense that I'm not actually going to do a video review as much as I'm going to go through one of the softwares which I developed. Let's get that. In well, about 3 months ago. I was meaning to do a video on it, but I haven't had the time, so this is essentially that time for me. Now, what is my software? I'll run through that in a second, but I'll pose you this common situation. For example, I have with me my current phone here at the moment. Now, as a phone user and a smartphone user, and as you guys may notice, I flash multiple ROMs from time to time. I switch from device to device to device, you know, and to other sorts of devices, and even to older devices. Some I don't even have here anymore, some not really mine, but I flash a lot of devices very often. Now, obviously, this is something which a lot of people do when you have an Android device, as in because there's so much new ROMs available. You know, you gotta test new things out. You know, it gets a bit difficult when you get comfortable at some point, and you know, and when you want to migrate over, let's get that. It's difficult because you lose all your settings. For example, let's look at my phone here. See, I've got my settings nicely set up. I like it the way it is now. You know, it's got calendars. It's got all my nice little settings. It's got you know, my stuff in neat little folders, as you can tell. Now, one thing about this though is that flashing a new ROM, you lose all of your settings, obviously. And this includes individual application settings and so on and so forth. Now, 3 months ago, I developed an application called APK Batch Installer Tool, and you may know me from the XDA forums for this under the same name, Hamster. And what this application allows you to do is effectively migrate any of your information over from, you know, your current ROM to, let's say, a new ROM. And obviously it isn't without bugs though, but we'll get to that. One thing which this software is also capable of doing is it's not just limited to, you know, same device to a device. For example, if I was to, you know, move one of the settings from this phone over to, let's say, this phone, I wouldn't have any problems doing so. You know, it would work perfectly, and it works across tablets and things like that. Limitations at the moment, obviously the device is still at a very young stage, being only 3 months old, but and some applications are don't really restore very well. It's not as effective as titanium backup, so don't take it as a complete replacement for a titanium backup, but it will save you a lot of time and a lot of effort, and trust me, you're probably gonna love it. So without further ado, what do you need to run this application, you ask? Well, it's simple. First thing you need is obviously a USB cable. So I have a USB adapter right here, and obviously you're gonna hook your phone in. Whoops. That's not even going in. There we go. It went click, clack. And now my phone is hooked in. Now, one thing you're gonna need, even with your phone hooked in, is you're gonna need ADB drivers installed. Now, let's continue this part on my desktop, shall we? Alright guys, so we are here with the second part of the video. Now, in this second part, what you need is your device hooked in to the computer, and USB drivers installed for that, and not just the USB drivers, the ADB drivers for your device. Now, most of the times this is provided with your vendor itself, So when you install, let's say, a HTC suite, sync suite or something like that, it comes pre-installed with ADB drivers, so you don't have to worry too much. As you can see here, I have my device hooked up, and it's detecting as a HTC Android interface. Now I'm going to be using a Desire HD with this one because it's going to be faster, so that's always a good thing. So I'm going to close this. What we have here is then the application. Sorry if there's no arrow, but Windows decided to just say, hey, you know what, you can't run arrow while you're doing video, so I'm going to take away your arrow. It's like, fuck that. So right now we have the application loaded up. Now this device is this location is obviously one which I've designated myself. So let me just say it backs up to a folder called backup on the desktop. Alright, so what it will do now obviously is you have the options to select. You want to batch backup APKs, you want to rename, screw off, it's E3 now. Batch rename, batch install, batch backup, and batch rename, yeah. So we'll run through these details one by one, but let's begin by doing a batch backup of APKs. Now you can select batch backup data or not, and it's optional. And if you choose to do so, you will see an extra, prompt at the an extra window, and there's something called fixed permissions here. Now, if you're running this software and you're getting a 0 files pool error, try running this and it should fix it. If it doesn't, drop me a line through this nice little link here, which should bring you to the XDA developers website. If I click that and let it load, as you can see, it'll bring you to the XDA developers website. Just drop me a mail and tell me. So right now let's get down to it. I've designated a folder. I'll click backup data, and I'll go next. So now it's shutting down all existing ADB servers. It's going to scan my phone for APKs to backup, and since I don't have much on this phone, it should be a relatively fast process. But obviously it will still take a while. So it also checked for apps installed to SD. No apps found continuing. So it renames it as well. So let's take a look. It pulled down several applications. I should have turned that off completely. But friends are like that, aren't they? Yes, that's Chad from one of my previous videos. You can see it pulled several applications. So let's take a look at that, shall we? Move on to data. So it actually scans the pulled applications and says, hey, these were the applications which we pulled. Do you want to select data of them? So you can select individually which applications you'd like to extract their data from, or you can select check all or uncheck all. I'm just gonna do check all, and just to show it off, and I'm gonna click backup. So it's gonna run again, and this time it's the app data backup, and so it's gonna go through the list. So that's 1 of 9, 2 of 9 system tuner, 3 of 9, 4 of 9. Please excuse that. 5 of 9, 6 of 9, 7 of 9, 8 of 9. A very enthusiastic friend sending a lot of lols around. Extremely enthusiastic. Sorry about that. So now we've got all the applications backed up. I'm gonna close that, and I'm gonna open my folder here, and let me just jump into the desktop and a folder called backup. So as you can tell, all of my applications are now backed up to this folder, and that's designated with .apk, and they all rename nicely according to their file name. in Android as well. If you look in data, now sometimes you may not find the right number. For example, I have 9 items here, if you notice, but in data I only have 8. Now this is because the system did not, well, the application did not find any data associated with it, so it didn't manage to pull anything out. So right now that's just it. You have all of your applications installed, backed up, and the data alongside that comes with it backed up. Now let's take a look at getting them back into the machine. Now I'm going to launch this again. There are different options now. You can rename these APKs, and if I select it to backup, even if let's say let's keep this open, I went and did something really stupid. I went and maybe say did something like this. Rename lol. Look at that. I can't tell which application is which anymore. You know, that's terrible. But wait, there is salvation for you. Point it to the folder. For example, this. Tap next. And voila. Everything is back in order. So this is the renaming function, which my application brings you. Now let's move on to the other function. And if you notice as well, the one thing about this application is that it does remember where your last directory is. So that's a handy little tool for you guys. It was on the request list, so you know, I ended up doing that. Let's take a look at batch install APKs then. So now it's going to take the APKs from this folder, and I'm going to say, yeah, install to restore their data as well. We're going to go back up, and we're going to go next. Now it's going to detect the applications installed here. So it doesn't matter whether they're named funny or not. Let me explain this. I'll go back, I'll go batch install APKs, and I'll go here and do that same thing again. I'll go lol, right? Then I'll go batch install APKs, restore data. I'll click next. It doesn't matter what they're named as, it will always detect it as their actual program name, as opposed to you know, their file name. So this was also a very early request earlier on, and I have addressed that. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's say I'm going to install all of them. I'm going to go next. Now it's going to detect which applications I had data for as well, in which case you can see only a few. So I can check all as well, and I'll click install. And that's basically about it. The application itself has been built with simplicity in mind, so it's extremely easy to use, and through the coming versions it's also became a bit more versatile in what you can use it for. In this example, obviously the more simpler example, but part of it is also because it's easy to use, and it got a bit of fame because of this, and the application got featured on the front page of XDA developers, and well, I've got even a few German magazines and you know, who want to include my software in their wonderful magazine. So that's obviously a very nice thing. So it at least tells me that I've done something right in that sense. So what I'm doing now is obviously just to show you guys how easy it is to back up and restore, you know, applications without having to use a command line. Now the backend for this application obviously relies on command line interfacing, but you as the user go through none of it. Alright, you just see you know, it as a very easy application to use. You just back up, install, that's it. Few easy clicks, few easy steps. If you're not even restoring data, it is extremely simple. Alright, so you know, see, that's about it. Everything is installed and everything has been restored just fine. So let's move on back to the camera, shall we? Alright, hey guys, and welcome to the second part of this, which shows you an additional function for this application which I developed. So why am I back on my phone? Well, my phone's unplugged, and I mentioned before that this device uses ADB drivers, and that you need cable and things like that. Now If you don't have a cable, or you just don't want to use cable, you don't have to. That's the beauty of it. I have a device in front of me with what is ADB wireless, and as of earlier versions, my software actually supports ADB wireless. So let's just tap on that, and this is ADB wireless right here. Let the camera decide to focus on it. Let's just give it a little bit of help there. Alright. So this is ADB wireless, and it's just as simple as launching the application and tapping that center button. Voila, that's it. Your phone is now ADB enabled. Now, one thing you need to be probably sure of is that it's on the same local network as your computer, which you're running it from. Let me just try and get that focus. No, it doesn't like it. Ooh. Okay, whatever. So right now you can see that I've connected, and my IP address is 192.168.1.107 and :555. So let's hop into the desktop again, and I'll show you the rest from there. Now this is actually my third time making this video, because through a terrible stroke of luck, my SD card died on me. My SanDisk Extreme SD card died on me while making this video. See, this is how much I sacrificed for you guys. So let's this is the application booted up, as you can tell, and I'm gonna turn on ADB wireless link, and I'm gonna go batch backup APKs. I'm gonna go, designate a folder, and I'm gonna click next. Now I know the IP address, so it's 192.168. Oops, that's caps lock. 168.1. Let's give it a busted one for starters. All right, let's go 455. It doesn't exist. Can't get it. When you click establish link and you get a busted link, it's not going to work. You have to click establish link for it to actually work to begin with. I have to clarify that. And you see, you get a sad Android red face. If you try and continue from here, it will give you an error. It will tell you that it can't continue. So let's give you the actual IP address. It's 192.168.1.107, as you can tell from this device itself. So yeah, so this is 107 as well. Oops. See, 107 555. All right, from here, let me just click next. Give me 1 sec. Alright, I'm going to click establish link. I need to click establish link each time, and this will pair my device with the computer. So you can notice that I've got a happy Android face now. I just click next, and that's just basically about it. That's all it takes. As you can tell, it's restarting ADB server, establishing a wireless link with the device. It's connected at 192.168.1.107.555. Now it's backing it up to the folder. Now I'm going to show you the actual folder itself. And you can see it says temp. Now it's actually pulling all the data to here. And bear in mind though that pulling it from a wireless device, wireless connection, it's actually going to be slower than using a cable in itself. So bear in mind that the times you will get will vary in terms of connection speed, and not only that, you're gonna vary in terms of time. So if you have a better link to your phone from your phone to your computer, then it's gonna be faster. Just simply said. Now I can tell it's actually moving. It's actually been pulling files. So we'll just leave it at that for now. So I'm just gonna clarify a little bit on this. I'm running a wireless N router, but the Desire HD is actually a what's its name? A G, wireless G, and that means that my transfer rates are a bit capped as well. But I'd imagine that with future versions, for example, wireless AC comes up, it's not going to be an issue because wireless AC is a lot faster anyway. So if you have a wireless AC device and a wireless AC router, it's going to work fine. So as you can tell, it pulled my files perfectly. And yeah, if I look in the folder, everything's all there and it's perfect, just the way it is. So that is just a brief rundown. Every other function will work the same if you decide to choose to use the wireless link. So that is about it, guys. Thank you for watching.